Hi there, I'm Liz Halliday-Sharp and welcome to the Eventing Show brought to you by the Horse Hub app. In this episode, we cover all the news and issues from September 2013 of the equestrian sport of eventing. Today we come to you from the south of England one-day event at the Ardingly Showground in the UK. And joining me today, we have a fabulous lineup of international event riders. Creator of the eventing show, Paul Tapner, also known as Tappers, is a professional event rider who's an Australian eventing team member and a previous winner of the Badminton Horse Trials. Lucinda Fredericks is joining us too. Lucinda and her famous little mare, Headley Britannia, together have won 3 of the world's total 6 CCI 4-star FEI events. These being Burghley in 2006, Badminton in 2007, and Kentucky in 2009. Frances Whittington is known around the UK eventing circuit and is one of the fastest and most competent cross-country riders at 4-star level. A previous Team GB member at pony level with Team Silver and individual gold, he has since made his mark on the senior eventing ranks with wins at 3-star level. Frances, welcome to the Eventing Show.
Hello.
Aoife Clarke is one of Ireland's leading eventing riders, being Ireland's top-placed rider at the London Olympics with an individual 7th place. Her first Olympic experience at London has certainly given her a taste for success and no doubt spurred her on to her most recent win at the 3-star level at this month's Blenheim Palace event. Aoife, welcome to the Eventing Show. Also joining the show today is Pippa Funnell. She's on her way back to her yard as we speak, so we were lucky enough to catch up with her earlier. Pippa needs no introduction. The only winner ever in its history of the Rolex Grand Slam back in 2003, silver and bronze medalist Olympian, 15 times a victor at 3-star level, and 5 times winner at 4-star level. First up on the international eventing circuit this month was the Land Rover Burghley 4-star event, where we actually filmed our last eventing show. This was before all of the action had begun, with this year's winner Jock Paget sharing his amazing ability for multitasking with us during that episode. Jock riding Clifton Promise was closely pursued in 2nd place by the ever-young Andrew Nicholson on the 2012 Burghley champion, Avebury. Nicholson also then 3rd on the 2012 Po 4-star champion, Nero, so it was quite an event.
So thanks for quickly talking to us. I just wanted to get your opinion on Burghley this year. Fantastic event, really exciting, and a win for Jock.
Very, very good win for Jock. I thought it was a tougher track than we've seen for a bit. We certainly had to scratch our heads a bit, and there was a lot to jump on the course. I was lucky I had a really, really good cross-country ride, but Jock was absolutely brilliant, showed his class, and
he was exceptional in all 3 phases, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
you couldn't beat him in the dressage, and then cross-country, nobody could beat him.
He's a real cool cookie. I mean, he lives fairly near us now, so I see a bit of him, and he really has buckled down over the last few years and just got better and better. And on top of that, it helps to have those 2 horses of that calibre, and he really is on top of the world.
He spoke to us at Burghley and he said, it's really good practice to ride horses of that calibre every day. When you have really good horses in your yard, it makes you ride good, I suppose.
Do you think we'd look good if we had those 2 horses?
Yeah, there is that question, isn't there? What are you talking about? You've got so many good horses. You're breeding with the Billy stud now, doing a fantastic job, still winning at 3-star level. Another 4-star victory coming soon from you?
Listen, I just enjoy every event I'm doing, and yes, if you get to 4-star, it's always a bonus, isn't it? But no, going back to Jock.
You're not planning a trip over to Kentucky to ruin Jock's plans of the Rolex, saying you're the only one. You got any plans to ruin his chances of joining you?
I don't think I'll be a threat, but I haven't ruled out going to Kentucky
Oh,
yet.
Here we go. Look at that.
but it's a long way to travel, and I certainly wouldn't do it for the reason of trying to stop Jock. I mean, I said I was interviewed by Rolex actually before Burghley, and they were one of the questions they asked is, do you think the Grand Slam's going to be won again? And I said, for sure it will. And I said, it wouldn't surprise me if someone like Jock did win it, because he's got 2 horses of that calibre, and he's just such a cool cookie. He's a real out-and-out competitor, but just a really lovely guy with it.
Doesn't look like anything phases him, does he? Doesn't get stressed, at all, does he? We're very jealous of that. Well, I am.
But maybe he might do. I don't know behind the scenes. You never know, but I'm sure there.
You reckon it's a facade?
Somewhere there must be a little chink somewhere.
Some nerves there somewhere. We got to find it. Yeah. Stop him on his winning ways.
No,
we don't want to do that, do we?
He's such a nice guy, and listen, we all know how tough the sport is, and that is one of the good things. No one begrudges anyone having success, and everyone appreciates the work that goes in, and to win at that level, you can't do it without putting the hours and the hard graft in. So I don't think anyone begrudges it.
Yeah, no, of course, in the world of eventing, we're all very close knit, and we all support each other, and definitely we want Jock to win the Rolex.
We still get competitive.
Oh, exactly. We still want to win ourselves.
Yeah.
Indeed. So we've had a few near misses of the Rolex Grand Slam. We've had Andrew Hoy, we've had William, we've had Andrew Nicholson. It reads like the who's who of who's in the eventing world, the legends of the eventing sport. Yourself. Is Jock going to join those eventing legends? What do you reckon? Are you going to put some money on him?
I think he could.
Right, so guys, Burghley was pretty exciting this year. Jock being pulled up on both horses for blood. What's that all about?
It was very exciting all the way through. We had New Zealand domination of the sport of eventing again at Burghley, and everybody else was just scrambling to make up the placings.
I think it's been quite easy for us all to forget that everything goes in cycles, and the Kiwis are coming back up to the top again. They've got an amazing group of riders, amazing group of horses there as well. And as we all know, if you don't have that right horsepower, you're never going to be achieving the results that you need to. At the moment, they've got some great horses in there. They've got great riders. That said, the Irish team's coming up quite well, and the Irish horses are looking good as well.
I think we've got some really good young horses coming through with the squad riders. I think this year it didn't quite go to plan at the Europeans, but it's definitely there for the future. And whereas the Kiwis have really looking like they've got the strength and depth at 4-star, which for next year's World Games they've got to be one of the favourites for it.
Yeah, next year's World Games
they've got to be there for it.
Well, you've got to hope they haven't peaked too early, though, haven't you?
I wouldn't be hoping that. I hope they have peaked
exactly.
early.
We're hoping they've peaked way too early, and next year they're all on their downward. You're saying it's in cycles. They're on their downward cycle next year.
Yeah.
No chance. Same with Germany.
Germany,
they're on their downward
Germany
cycle.
don't have the strength and depth at 4-star like the Kiwis do, though, do they? Not if it's a true 4-star test.
6 out of the top 10 placings at Burghley, New Zealand horses. And
they're in their comfort zone.
Yeah.
You look at Nicholson. He's got how many horses now that have won a 4-star?
And 3 rides at Burghley. That's the first time that's been done in years, hasn't it?
Every Northern Hemisphere 4-star event.
He's probably got 3 at home as well.
New Zealand rider, the title of. Yeah.
It's incredible.
I think he could be a bit nicer to his friends and share them out, couldn't he?
He does.
Share his horses out.
I would quite like that. Maybe I should be friendlier with him.
Easy.
I was going to say, well, we know what you did when you got a ride on Andrew Nicholson's horse.
Anyway.
Moving along.
Yeah, let's talk about Clifton horses, because there were nearly 3 Clifton horses in the top 5 or something.
Indeed, Frances Steed of the Clifton horse fame. She's a New Zealand lady who has got an amazing eye for a horse. I mean, most of these horses she buys off the track as ex-race horses. So, she's just seeing them walk around and says, you know what, that's going to make a top-class event horse. And she has not only, we've seen the ones with Kevin McNabb and Jock, 3 horses there at Burghley, all really good performers. But she's got a lot of other horses with a lot of other riders as well, and she has a really good system of placing them with young New Zealand riders.
What strike rate has she got? I mean, how many is she actually buying off the track? How many are coming through to the top level?
Or how many don't we see?
And how many don't we see?
I don't think we know is the answer.
But even still, Burghley showed up that there's a very certain type of horse for Burghley. It's not your average 4-star horse that can get the time there. Of course, if you want to go long routes or go steady, that's a bit different.
But
the ones who made the time,
always been like that. It's always been the tougher.
But the Clifton horses made it look easy going the time.
But then go to Avebury.
Yeah, no, he's an exception,
He's
though.
an exception, but he's so
and he's
rideable.
amazing,
I know. It doesn't matter what Nicholson's exactly.
But Avebury's the type of horse because he looks so imbalanced the whole time that he doesn't need to be full blood because he doesn't waste anything of himself, isn't he? He's such a neat horse.
The only full blood
amazing.
horse
Andrews is the third is
the Calico
Joe, and it was
I
the
think you're right.
least placed one of his three.
Yeah.
That's a terrible thing to say. It was,
You're Australian. You're allowed.
So let's talk about near misses, guys. I mean, there were some really top riders at Burghley this year that we expected big things out of. Tom McEwen, Piggy French, Ingrid, Michael Owen, and Bettina. Let's not forget about
you go to talking about near misses, and before we hit the near misses, the cross-country course that had been designed there, I wasn't riding it. I went up there and was there on foot seeing sponsors and doing some talking up there. I thought the course that had been designed there was fantastic, and it lent itself to having silly moments near misses. And I think that showed really good course designing, and I know we're going to touch on it later, but I thought when you then look also the way that Blenheim had been built as well, I thought that showed really good course designing. We had two good courses on the trot that lent themselves to having near misses or silly whoopsies, that the mistakes that riders were making.
You couldn't plan it too much in advance. You had to act on what you had a little bit, and that's when...
And watching Burghley, and from my point of view, just being there on foot, seeing the way the course was developing and riders were riding around it, you were having these mistakes quite early on, though, just silly glance-offs, where somebody hadn't quite got their placement right to the first element or over the ditch down there before they turned back to the Land Rover fences. These little mistakes were then being costly, and perhaps it was an accumulation of awkward jumps that led to the horse finally saying,
always everybody says that at Forsyth's accumulation, isn't it? But I mean, poor Tom McEwen, who probably wins the award, the YouTube moment for his fall. I mean, nearly stayed on.
Tried really hard.
He did try. It was, you know,
I don't think the horse wanted him.
No, the horse didn't want to help him.
No.
I've still not seen that. Was his moment of nearly staying on as good as Jock's moment last year? Was it last year where he did?
It was more at speed.
It was different.
It was
very fast.
It was a very grumpy horse.
Yeah, I think anybody 10 years old probably wouldn't have walked away with quite such a smile on his face.
And then Piggy French also, like I say, happened at speed. Hers happened real quick in the blink of an eye, but not travelling at speed. You know, and that's got to be so frustrating.
It's like isn't it jumping ditches on an angle, though? The horses can just do the...
There's so much room for error when you're
yeah.
jumping a ditch on an angle, isn't there?
Yeah.
And that's certainly what happened to Piggy there, which was a shame.
Two things that I never liked doing. Jumping ditches on an... Well, I say I never liked. We aren't afforded the luxury of liking and disliking things. But there's two things I always think you'd be very careful of. Jumping ditches on an angle and jumping out of water up a step on an angle.
Yep.
I'd agree with that.
Both which Burghley seemed... Well, Mark
Well, there might have been a couple of extra tumbles had that corner in the first water not been brush.
Yeah, Ingrid being one of the very lucky people that got there. That's some amazing photos from the horse.
That Burghley water definitely was a very tough question, and Ingrid lived a life, and Jock Paget on Lush, he lived a life too.
But isn't this what cross-country riding is about? This is what we're training for, so that we're training for when things don't go right.
How often do you come back and think that there was no near miss? There was nowhere where you were even.
That's
you
the
just
frustrating
don't.
thing. I had no near misses.
I
was silky smooth the whole way around. Didn't have a single near miss, except for I silkily smooth went straight past the jump. I had 20 penalties.
We did all hear you counting a stride.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, count down to it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Didn't work.
So we've got some footage from Burghley of Jock Paget being pulled up with Clifton Promise. What do you guys think about that? Both horses pulled up for blood, different places obviously. One was a nosebleed, one was from the mouth.
This horse you can see clearly there. I mean, that is just so dangerous.
Hang on a minute. I've heard, we're going to talk about somebody standing to put the flag out early. I've heard from a number of cases now that flag was being waved before then.
Really?
Yeah.
But she should have been in the middle of the fence so that he couldn't jump the jump. And why was he getting pulled up at that point anyway? There was a stopping point
before that,
50 metres after that fence,
and before it,
and one jump before where he got pulled up on the first horse. He got pulled up on Lush, rightly so, because there was clearly at the dairy mounds on Lush, there was clearly blood coming from the horse's nose.
We got to be clear though. We got to be clear. We don't. I don't think we have all the facts here. Is that I've been led to believe that the flag was being waved before that.
you still wouldn't, I don't think,
The fence before that.
take the horse's eye off
And I don't
big
think
fence.
he should be pulled upright,
I-
even
Yeah.
before Cottesmore Leap. Can you
I
imagine
agree
having
with
a
that
hold and
completely.
having
There's
to
no
jump
reason
that?
why that couldn't have been pulled up ready for the next fence or at some other point. But I don't think this is as clear cut as everybody thinks.
Are you saying that there was somebody else
Yes.
at the fence before?
But this is all I've been told. Like I say, I've just been led to believe that there was somebody else that was waving a flag earlier than that.
So
And I would like to think that there was.
You
If
don't
the
want that as your
situation,
first jump after a hold, do you?
no, quite. If the
But then
situation
again,
is
how-
as we see
He
it,
did-
then
he
I
did-
would have jumped that
He
fence
did
as well.
say he saw the red
Thought he'd get the
flag,
jump out of the
but
way
I was
first.
already committed. I'd seen my spot. I was going, and you know, clearly you could see on the
Safer.
footage there. As soon as he lands afterwards, he's turning his head, going, "What do you want me to do? Do you want me to stop?" And he did stop. Okay, so
Just as well, he was so focused on it. Like, I don't know how many people would be able to
Exactly.
go, yeah, just a sec.
That is
I'll just jump Cottesmore Leap and I'll talk to you.
Like a straw down.
fences to jump.
Do you not
Physically
think, though,
dangerous
that
fences to jump.
Most
Yeah.
people would have jumped it.
Yeah,
I
but it
would
would
have
have just taken
jumped
your
it.
eye off
Yeah.
it. If you weren't
Sure.
on such a bold horse and you had one that you really needed to
You certainly wouldn't want to come
nail
to
on
it
the
again,
last
would you, after
ride.
stop?
No.
Out of
The
it- out
problem
of
is, I
interest.
don't
No, you wouldn't
believe,
want that
and
as
you
your
can
first,
you can
would you?
accuse me
No
for
way.
not having all the facts, but I don't believe that the organisers of Burghley horse trials are going to take that issue seriously enough. I have no faith that they will
tell you
do.
what, I have absolute faith that they will do.
Well,
Absolute.
we wouldn't have
But-
the same repetition like that. Lucinda said what has happened to her before, and it's like,
Mine was diabolical, and not only that, they then proceeded to give me, I don't know, 7 time faults.
which you argued off.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because luckily the television,
Of course, which you've argued
Is
off
this
and you
down to
got rid,
volunteers that
and you did
choosing
get
them?
rid of.
Because there's clearly
Well,
a fence judge. Why didn't the
it
fence
is a-
judge stop you?
In
Like
my
somebody
day,
should
it was a
have.
lack of communication,
Yeah.
and that has to be the same here.
Yeah.
I guess the
In
fact
your
that
day, were we still on
as in
semaphore
5.
then?
It was a few years ago,
yeah, clearly
2006.
there's a process that should make this happen in a safe manner. It happened on his first horse in a safe manner. He was pulled up at a stopping point between the dairy mound and the little house fence.
That's my
there.
point. That's what I'm saying.
So,
is, what
if he
if
wasn't
this-
stopped there,
did-
and if he was failed to stop there,
Why didn't it happen there in the same
should-
place, which it might well have done?
all right, so maybe
probably didn't do it.
We don't know the-
Or maybe
we
they
don't
were
know the full
discussing
facts.
whether to pull it up
We don't
for
know
that.
the full facts. What I do think perhaps should happen is that there needs to be somebody needs to put something out on the press to say, why did this happen from the event side, so that we as riders understand how the situation did occur and what has been done to ensure that it doesn't happen again. We need to,
because that doesn't happen, that's why I don't have any faith. I'd like to say I do.
I think of one event that I do believe we should have faith in helping to move the sport forward, it is Burghley. It definitely is Burghley. And do you know what, I just out of a matter of point now, I plan to make a phone call Monday morning and start to find out.
Our era.
Something's going to happen.
Thank you very much, Frances. Yes, you get on the phone, find us the facts, and then we will debate it again once we have all the
I'm
facts.
gonna
On our
find
next
out some
programme,
facts.
we're going to find out the
I'm
real
gonna
truth.
find out, yeah.
So after the break, we will be looking back at Blenheim and Ballindenisk and a few other things that we can all chat about. Let's shake it up. Let's talk about what's in the news right now. Tamarillo being cloned.
This is a good thing. Maybe they could clone me one day.
Anyway, what do you guys think?
It is a comedy show, this is.
We're just going to take that swiftly over that direction.
I'm speechless. We're having lots of little Francis's running around. This is great. Okay,
We're only just about dealing with one of you.
Yeah, exactly. The eventing world can only cope with one Francis. But can the eventing world cope with the second Tamarillo? I mean, an amazing horse, super talented horse. But it must be slightly frustrating as well. I mean, he threw away some events, let's be brave and say that, with his spookiness or his difficultness, like he was a really difficult character of a horse. But having said that, what would happen if the new Tamarillo was put with William Foxpitt? So
or cloned William.
Has got all the hind... No, I don't need another William Foxpitt. But William Foxpitt's got all of the hindsight. He doesn't need hindsight anymore. He's got all of the knowledge of what made that horse good. So he knows what to do, how to school it. So all of the years that he was trying to figure out how to make that horse win, he already knows. So he can do that right from the start.
It does mean he's going to have to eventually, he's about 60.
Well, that's it. In another 10 years' time, he's still going to be eventing.
And it's going to be kept entire, which might make it a bit more difficult still, if they're going to keep it. Yeah, well, they're hoping to breed from it, aren't they?
They might breed it and then cut it.
So God, can you imagine?
The new Tamarillo is going to be a stallion.
Yeah, but you only need to breed it till it's 6 or 7, and then you can cut it. Yeah, because I've got a Oslo Prada foal, and of course I used the frozen semen from Oslo before he was cut.
I can't imagine Tamarillo as a stallion. I used to actually look after Tamarillo.
He'd be a Tamarillo as a stallion. Would be a real handful.
But that's what makes him. But then this is the thing with cloning is how much do you get the brain? As well. That's the thing with cloning, isn't it?
Nurture.
Yeah,
like. How much of that would be nurture?
Be interesting to see.
Well, that's what I mean. You've got
you just wouldn't know
how to nurture it.
Yeah.
No, but it mightn't come out with that same character.
I'm a little bit sceptical, or I'm not 100% sure about this cloning business. I'm not sure.
Well, this is the first one in the eventing world, isn't it? That we know of.
It's another whole debate, isn't it? But I do.
So we're not going to see a cloning department in the Billy Stud, not just yet.
We've got so many, we don't need to clone them. But it will be interesting because it will be interesting, especially if William had the horse, to see how much their careers are governed on circumstances.
We often in our sport say, hindsight's a wonderful thing. You've got all of this. He knows what he did to get the first Tamarillo to where it did. So he already has the knowledge. It's not like he has to relearn what to do with that horse. So if it is identical, then, he already knows what to do. So this could actually be... So let's do our maths on that. How old's William going to be? 10 years' time?
Yeah, we will be. Well, I don't know. The way the sport's going... Everyone, it's going to be.
William will still be riding, you reckon?
I think there's going to be a bit of a competition. Who's going to retire the first? And I bet once someone starts retiring, we're all going to stop. It's like we're all too stubborn to give up.
Not going to get first. Yeah, not that we're all competitive people. I'm not going to be first to retire. Are you?
Yeah, but you're a bit younger.
They mightn't have the same cheeky attitudes.
It's like when you do ET, isn't it? You've got a different mother.
A different nurture. Different mother to nurture.
Yeah. So it grows up
Francis,
with his other
than
mother.
Cloning yourself, which of your horses would you like to clone? Any of them?
I wouldn't mind actually. Can I? There must be.
And another horse.
There must be a way here that I could combine all the best attributes of.
No, we've already discussed this.
That's what we reckon as well. Yeah. So it's not one single horse.
No,
that you can't.
I want a bit of this one, a bit of that one, movement of the other one, the brain of the other one.
Yeah.
So you could, but isn't that breeding? That's what you do when you breed a horse.
I'd like something a little...
You're trying to combine all of the best bits.
Quicker.
A little bit quicker.
Would be nice.
Less guesswork. It would just come out that way, done.
The clone of Tamarillo is still a foal, so it still has to grow up. So,
and you can get, the complete twins, can't you? And they're just so different. It's like people. They are totally different. So it'd be really interesting to see how...
I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
How these young ones go.
Very exciting.
5 years on and see.
So we'll revisit this conversation in 10 years' time.
We're now going to talk about the Blenheim horse trials.
which we are very pleased to have the winner of the CCI 3-star Aoife Clark here with us. Yay! With Fenian's Elegance. Second place was Jean Telaire with Matelot du Grand Val. And third place, Clark Montgomery with Loughlin Glen. Yay, America. Well done, Clark. In the CRC 3-star, the winner was William Fox Pitt with Fernhill Pims. Chris Burton was in second with Graf Liberty. And in third place was Mark Todd with Leonidas. So a pretty exciting event. I actually had a dreadful Blenheim in the CIC 3-star myself. I had one of those moments you talked about where it just wasn't your day.
Doesn't go your way.
Which is why I ended up at Ballindenisk 20 hours later. Penny, you had a great day. I know you did, so let's hear about it.
Start at the top, definitely.
Start at the top. Tell us how we can do that next year.
She's a super mare. I've just been riding her this year, and she pulled it. Like, we knew that she was sort of in form coming in. And she's been very talented. She's been a little bit difficult sort of to get totally on side, I'd say. She's a real feisty mare, but that's kind of what makes her so good. And she was absolutely brilliant. She pulled out her best test for 40 and
Aoife, I was
really
there.
well.
We got there on the Wednesday, and I met up with you on the Wednesday. We were, as we do, wandering around in the warm-up area on our horses, and you were looking a little stressed, I'd have to say. You had a bit of drama throughout the week.
well, my lorry decided, I only live like 15 minutes away. My lorry decided to break down at the gates on the way in. So, and the power steering went, apparently that's not a real breakdown. You just need to be a strong man.
Yours just goes
So then we managed to get that in, and it had only just been for its service, like cost me a fortune 2 weeks before, but anyway. And also was trying to do something that you told me that you've learned not to try and do, and that's ride all the horses that were entered for Gatcombe the next weekend around the 2 horses I had at Blenheim.
Well,
so it was all just getting a bit
wrong because you won.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back
maybe
to my
I'm better
old
knackered.
system.
I know,
I'm going to go back to my old system and my local events, not stay on site and pretend I'm miles away and go home and ride a heap of horses like you were, and then come back and compete, and then go and ride a heap of horses
maybe
and then come back and compete.
So maybe it leaves me less time to think about things. I know.
Well, you might want to drive a bit slower.
You were driving
You got a speeding ticket, I think.
Yeah, I got zapped on the way. I still haven't got it, so fingers crossed.
Don't talk to me.
You'll probably get it now because they'll read them.
I know, because they'll watch the eventing show.
Well, clearly. I'm sure everybody does, right?
At least you won some money to pay for the fine.
And the owner wants some money, So.
Oh, well, I hope they're making a donation towards your power steering course.
Hopefully,
Or might offer to take your 3 points.
Maybe,
No,
Irish.
you said that, we're all going down.
So, guys, some major controversy in the CIC. Sam Griffiths and William Fox Pitt eliminated for the wrong boots in the show jumping. Well, this
was
pretty
bit
messy.
traumatic. I mean, the CIC 3-star is an age class. It's a young horse class, technically a young horse class. Now, the FEI rules state that in any young horse class, there's very strict rules about the boots. No elasticity in the boots, and very smooth surfaces on the inside. You have to be completely smooth on the inside. Now, the 2 specifications, and that is trying to stop performance-enhancing boots. Okay?
Which I agree with.
We all agree
with.
That's fine. There are what we call pinch boots, which are also one of the things that are not allowed. So those 3 specifications that are not allowed in a young horse class. Now, it did get taken to the nth degree because both. I saw the boots that Sam Griffiths had on it, and they were not
performance enhancing.
Boots.
You need elastic to keep, but boots need elastic to keep them on.
Yeah,
otherwise they're going to slip. And I got mine checked before going, and they said that it was elasticated, and I looked afterwards, it was nylon. And there's a certain amount of give in nylon, but you need to have that to fit them well. We were really careful with them, but. It does seem a little bit excessive. Surely there can be a better rule to stop performance-enhancing boots.
I don't know that there can be a better rule, but
something that is
more clear.
you don't want to jump young.
You've got to be careful about saying making it more clear, because from my experience dealing with the FEI is that we ask for something to be made clearer, or the stewards ask for something to be made clearer, and it all gets thrown out, and some draconian rule comes down in its place. Is that clear enough for everyone?
Which I think is pretty much what we've got now.
So basically all of us have got to go at every event and bring all our boots and hand them to them at every event.
But kind of ended up, I don't know about you, but I ended up shouldering that without high boots on because mine weren't, because my normal, but you don't want to do that really, do you? If they bang themselves or something, just protection, that's why.
We're aware in my yard, we're aware of the rules. Okay, so my sponsor Premier Equine have 2 sets of hind boots. They have a young horse boot, and which comply to the rules, and we have the normal boots, which do have some elasticity in them. They're not performance-enhancing boots, but
they're just to stay on.
They fall outside the rules, which are, like you say, very clear-cut. So we knew that rule, and we made sure we had the young horse boots on.
Regardless of what the rule is, going back to the beginning, it was made clear at the briefing. It was made clear at the briefing last year. It was talked about and discussed in detail last year.
Exactly.
And not just the briefing, but also the rider meeting on the Friday evening, which also the same topic came up then. Yeah. So it's not like people don't know. But
William and Sam couldn't claim ignorance. I mean, I went and got my boots checked before I went in the ring, and he checked them and said, yes, that's fine. So, you know, and I was the third one in, so nobody was warning me that somebody had got eliminated. I was going in.
And I think there was some discussion about that because they put the boots on William's horse just before he went in or something. A lot of people were saying that, and that the grand jury was saying, oh, well, you put them on just before it went in.
So it's got to be performance.
Exactly, I think there was
a little
some
bit of
chat about that.
Yeah.
Well, no one will be doing it again, I think, after that.
Yeah,
so
certainly brought it into the spotlight, and certainly
Yeah.
because, you know, William Foxpitt was in the lead on that horse. You know, he had a very, very good dressage score. Was right up there, ready to do some.
It was a sad situation.
Yeah, and
it was a very sad situation.
It was a tough day for William, really, as well. Yeah. I mean, on that note.
Well, for the owners.
That's the start,
to be honest.
It's the owners, I felt.
I mean, probably for an 8 and 9-year-old, that's their
end of season for some of them.
So as you said, Liz, William didn't have a very good day on that day with the elimination, but also he had an elimination in the cross country on the CCI class.
And a retirement.
And a retirement, yeah. So uncharacteristically a really bad day for William Foxpitt. I mean, he certainly made amends for it the next day by going and winning the CIC 3-star. He was very determined on that last day to the way he rode cross country. He was making time. There was no doubt about that. He wanted to win and make up for his bad Saturday with all of the drama.
Needed some fuel money.
Exactly. But another one to not be in the top 10 in either of the classes at Blenheim, uncharacteristically, was Andrew Nicholson. Had plenty of rides there. Nowhere to be seen. So
he looked pretty far up there in the CIC to begin with. Had some really good dressage score, and I think that was quite a new horse he was riding. I think he'd just taken over the ride a few days before, and had 3 rails down, I think, which is very uncharacteristic.
Bit of a contrast to the previous week, where he's completely on fire.
So, guys, we touched on, Francis, you said earlier about how you felt both the Burghley course and the Blenheim course were really good course designing courses. You know, a lot of mixture,
good results,
not just one influential fence.
Good results.
I actually felt that Blenheim did kind of have one influential fence this year. I felt the corners were really, really influential.
Did you look at the stats afterwards?
I didn't. I'm just saying from watching most of the day, and I know they caused a lot of trouble in the CIC. I myself had problems at the corners on a horse that's never ever said no.
I think the dew pond caused a lot as well at the end.
Yes, it did. The skinny on the and actually, interestingly, the option of the dew pond caused a lot of problems. And
they switched off
coming around the turn a bit too fast.
They went too fast.
They didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was a very.
But also, they were tired by then, and turning back on yourself, they switch off.
Wing around the turn and sort of
go a bit down.
That's a mistake that you see quite often, and that is people who are riding tired horses towards the end of a 3 or 4 star will often elect to go long route somewhere.
Make the horse more tired.
Makes it more tired. It's harder. I personally find on a tired horse around a course like that, your best option is to pick them up and go straight. Get the energy together and go the straight route. As soon as you start going around the long route, because they're tired,
but they become unadjustable.
Do you not think sometimes I think riders go, oh, well, I'll do the option, and they're almost, I'm not saying everybody, but I think sometimes riders just think, well, it's the easier option, and it's almost like you don't plan it as well as you would if you were doing the really difficult route. You pull yourself together and
the riders planned
and I think they just kind of went, oh well, it's quite a nice skinny. It's
must be alright.
Easy. Swing around the turn, back end slips. Next thing you know, the horse is ducked out to the right even.
But it was interesting. Going back to the corners, like it was interesting with them because walking the course first off, it didn't look like it was going to cause the trouble it did. I think there was. Don't come in. I think there was only 3rd clears out of all the starters in the CCI, but the corners didn't walk bad. But then. I think...
But they didn't in the CIC either.
Yeah, but I think some of it was as soon as people started to jump the first and put a jink in, and I always think if you're going to jump a fence thinking that you're going to jink on landing, it encourages the horse to run out. And there was a bold inside line that rode really well, and that the horses seemed to get a bit more, but a lot of it was... people riding not really the most positive line. I don't know if that.
Terrain and you have the
water in front of you.
You have the lake down there.
Takes their eye off it.
Optical illusion that on the both ones, both the short course and the long course 3-star. Very cleverly positioned by the course designer Eric Winter to have the optical illusion of the lake behind as they get to the second corner. Canver of the hill as well. You know, Blenheim's very hilly. Like we said, it's influential on the fitness of the horse. You know, obviously you had a really good ride. Your horse full of running when you got to the finish.
Yeah, like she was tired, but she's a young mare. She's not full thoroughbred either. So it was the first real stamina test that she had.
Did she do the time?
She had 4 time faults. But she was 4th fastest out of all the horses, I think. She was still pretty quick. But it got quite holding, I found, later on in the day. And at Blenheim, the hill from the bottom right back up to the arena, it was quite holding. So she did get a little tired, but she's a real stubborn mare.
Yeah, so, a huge amount of rain.
Pretty influential, all of that sort of thing with the rain. The only one to make time, and is another very fast rider. We said you were one of the fastest riders on the circuit, Gemma Tattersall. She was the only one to make time.
And a real thoroughbred.
I saw her, of course. I saw her on her way to the double of tables near the end. And I remember watching her, and I could see her face and see the horse, and I went, "I'll bet she's on time." I remember thinking that. Because she was absolutely smoking around the corner. And that thing is quick train, you know, it does go. It's a big horse and it's rangy, and she was on it.
Do you guys wear heart rate monitors at all?
On cross country?
Yeah.
I haven't done them.
I wore one.
Horse or human?
On myself. I wore one, and when I came through the finish on my horse he came 16th, and he got 11 time faults, ran his first 3-star, and I just eased off him to make sure that he came home nicely, and he came home with only 11 times, so I was thrilled. And we listened to his heart rate straight away. He was on 92. I was on 176.
you're near maximum, and he's just cruising. You need to do a bit more running, man.
I was looking at it, and I was thinking,
we know who's the fittest out of that
one
group,
of us worked quite hard, and he's very laid back horse. But it'd be interesting to know and take a comparison, all the heart rates of the horses that were like the top 20 fastest horses on the cross country. See what their heart rates were at the end of the course. And
I think you're right, because sometimes you get these laid back horses and you think, oh, they're really tired. And you finish, and he's like sparky as you like. 5 minutes later, and you go, hang on a minute. It just backed off a little bit. So next on the agenda is Ballindenisk, a lovely Irish event. I think I'm the only one here that actually went this year. It's my reroute plan from Blenheim. Really nice people. It's a fabulous event. I recommend it to anybody. A good course there usually, quite straight but good hunting track. So the winner of the CCI 3-star was Joseph Murphy on Sportsfield Othello. Second place was Izzy Taylor with Thistledown Polposki. And third was Janelle Richards on Classic Moe. And can I just say that only 4 horses made it to the show jumping in the CCI 3-star, which was...
Tough track.
Yeah, but there were only about 17 entered. But yes, it was tough. It was tough enough. In the CIC 3-star, the winner was Pippa Funnel on Second Supreme. And second place was Patricia Ryan on Tulanuski High Ho. And in third place was Melanie Ash on Rathmoylan Flight.
So now we take a look at what the rider leaderboards look like at the end of September 2013. And first up is the British Eventing Rankings, where the top 3 riders remain unchanged. Andrew Nicholson still comfortably heading affairs, but William Foxpitt has certainly widened the points gap between himself and Oliver Townend this month. The biggest mover this month within the top 20 is New Zealand's Janelle Richards, who has jumped up 10 places to now sit in 4th, while Sweden's Ludwig Svenestyle also makes a big jump up the rankings this month, getting just into the top 20 at 18th place from a previous ranking of 34th. And now we take a look at the FEI HSBC World Rider Rankings. New Zealand's Andrew Nicholson stays at the head of affairs, and the gap between him and second-placed William Foxpitt stays almost the same at around 30 points. The German riders then do some swapping around, with Ingrid Klimke pushing Michael Young down 1 spot this month. Swedish rider Ludwig Svenestyle was delighted to break into the top 10 World Rider Rankings, and he tweeted that this ranking was a dream come true for him and his team. And of course Ireland's Aoife Clarke, who we've met on this month's eventing show, with her fantastic 3-star victory at Blenheim Palace, has shot up a massive 25 places this month to lie just inside the top 20 in 19th place.
Right, well, thank you everybody for coming, and I hope that you've all really enjoyed this episode of the Eventing Show, and catch up with us next month.